Great catching up with Austin Vanderford. I am James Lynch here for MMA News. Austin, of course, last fought at Bellator 251, but I understand he's got to go under the knife again, a little bit of surgery here. Austin, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Yeah, I broke my hand in the fight, and so I had to get some pins put in. And so actually next week now, I think December 23rd is the date. I just go in to get the pins removed and whatnot. So almost there. I see the finish line as far as healing, so just got to go do that.
Okay, sort of the last step. Yeah, that makes sense. So kind of ballpark, when are you looking to kind of get back in the cage and return? Because I know obviously you got to let the hand heal up and make sure everything's good to go.
Yeah. I would be super happy if by March I'm ready to go and stuff, or maybe even a little sooner. So, but I'm gonna make sure I do everything right and not force it and not come back too early and re-injure again. So I'll be smart about it. But that's the goal, and that's what I hope for is March.
Yeah, no, it's a good ballpark there. We got a lot to talk about because a lot has happened since the last time you and I spoke. I know the last time we had talked, you were going down to Florida training an American Top Team, but this looks kind of like a permanent move now. Is that accurate? Or are you guys officially moved out there, or are you just doing your camps out there?
Yeah, we are. We're officially moved out here, and just as far as what our careers needed, and just the direction we're going, and Paige has always got a million things going on, and this is really a good place for her, and a great place for us. American Top Team's amazing, and we've really enjoyed being a part of the team and just everything that comes along with it. So, it's kind of hard to come here. I don't quite get how you could come here and train for a few weeks and then go back somewhere else because it's just so great. So it's tough. I miss Fabiano and all my teammates in Portland, but for the time being, this is what we need for our careers and the best for us.
Good stuff. Now, did you guys buy a place? Are you renting and waiting till your other house sells, or like what's happening? Or are you keeping your house back in Oregon?
Yeah, we're renting here. We got an apartment here, and we're actually really happy doing that. We went to Alaska for a couple weeks, and it was like we didn't have to worry about a house being away from, and we got back here, and as soon as we walked into our apartment, we're like, yes, it feels so homey, and we didn't have to stress about anything. So yeah, we're pretty happy just living in an apartment right now.
Good stuff. Let's talk about that win at Bellator 251. Vinicius de Jesus, I believe that's how you say it. Another decision victory, but a really outstanding performance. How happy were you with what you put out there at Bellator 251?
I was happy. I felt like I could have got the finish, and I probably should have. And no knock against him or whatever, but I just feel like I need to finish guys like that. And I don't know how much it had to do with maybe my hand, and so I had a hard time gripping on and stuff because I think I did it like halfway through the first round. So
I see. So the break was early, you feel? Yeah,
but that's just kind of an excuse or whatever. I got to figure out a way to get it finished. But of course, no, not to take anything away from victory, because that's what we're going for, and I'm happy with it. But yeah, I think it was I'm improving here, and I'll continue to really improve. The fight camp was a little wacky. I'd went through COVID and, just a bunch of things. So more than anything, I was happy to get out there and fight underneath the American Top Team flag and get the victory and be a pretty decisive one as well. So I'm happy.
I was going to ask you about that because, again, we haven't talked since you got COVID. It looked like you and Paige had it pretty badly in terms of like being out of action. Like, how severe was it, your case of COVID?
Yeah, I don't. It wasn't that severe. I mean, it
Okay.
was. I felt crappy for a couple weeks for sure, but I was fortunate that it wasn't anything too bad. I never had trouble breathing or anything. My number one symptom was my hip joints and my knees were so sore. So it was like I couldn't sleep. They were so sore. Yeah, just kind of weird, man. I lost my smelling. I lost my taste. I had a headache for like 5 days, and I had a fluctuating temperature, but it wasn't anything ever like scary high or anything like that. And usually some NSAIDs or whatever would take care of the fever. So, I was pretty fortunate, but it it kicks you down for a little bit. You know, it took a few weeks of training to really feel back to normal. Thankfully, I don't have any lasting effects of it or anything like that.
Okay, gotcha. And do you have any idea how you got it, or you still don't know? Maybe it was traveling or something, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you guys see the fights and you see all the guys having to, you know, we've had so many guys here at American Top Team having to pull out, and it just, you know, it just is going through. We're definitely here at American Top Team. Everyone's going to be immune from it by, you know, the end of the year for sure. Because I think just about everyone here has had it. So.
A lot of big news in Bellator lately. Two big signings: Anthony Rumble Johnson, Yoel Romero. I want to start first with Romero. A little bit relieved he's not fighting at 185.
No, I wouldn't say relieved. You know, I
know you'll fight anyone, but still, sure.
I
mean, this is a guy who narrowly lost to Robert Whitaker not that long ago, right? So
yeah, for sure. But you know, it's a great thing for Bellator, and it's a great thing for me and everyone who's a part of Bellator. It's just going to bring more eyes, and you know, a fight with him would just bring more eyes to myself and be able to showcase more. But you know, we have the same management team and whatnot, and he's going to do great at 205. And I think that it's him and Rumble, or you know, man, that's such an exciting fight if that ever happens. And you know, that'll be one of the best fights of the year in any promotion.
I agree. Yeah, I was so surprised that the UFC didn't come to terms with Rumble, and then with Yoel as well. Like, I mean, I kind of understand it, but also it's like you just released like a top middleweight, like a guy who's barely lost anyone. So that's a little bit interesting there. Have you got a chance to meet Yoel yet? You mentioned you have the same management.
Yeah, we have. Then a few times.
Character.
Yeah, we spent a little time, and the nicest guy. You know, like 95% of the people in MMA, he really humble, really nice guy. So, you know, I'm happy for him. I'm happy he was able to do that. And, you know, I'm impartial to Bellator. So I think he made I think this was really great for his career, and, you know, even better than staying in the UFC. And not to knock the UFC or anything, but I just, you know, I think it was good for him maybe to revitalize his career and whatnot. And you know, like we said, there's some really exciting fights for him in Bellator. So that's going to be cool.
You talked about wanting to return in the spring. Any opponents you're looking at? And then also, how soon are we going to be talking about you fighting for a title? Because it's almost getting to that point, man, with your record. Like, you're undefeated. You keep beating these guys. Like, or do you feel like you're close to potentially fighting like a Gegard Mousasi, someone like that?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think there's some more steps, some more guys that I can definitely compete against a little below him before I make the jump to the belt. But if Bellator were to call me tomorrow and say, hey, you're fighting for the belt in, you know, March or April, I would jump right at it. So definitely, I think there's some great fights to be made for myself. You know, there's some guys over in Europe that are doing really well at middleweight and all that, although we don't really know, you know, what the outlook for that is, just with you know, everything going on in the world right now. But yeah, there's some amazing fights. There's some good fights. And, you know, I'd say I'm still probably a couple fights out from the title, but I'm really excited. And, you know, we have a good game plan in place. And I've got an amazing head coach here, Coach Prahumpa, and then King Mo. Both those two have really put in a lot of work with me, along with Mike Brown and Mako, and, you know, my striking coaches, Anderson and stuff. And so it's really a good thing, and I'm excited. I feel like I'm going to be fully prepared when the time comes.
Are there any names that come to mind? I mean, you're the last guy to go on the microphone and call someone out, but is there any names you're looking at in that division that you're like, hey, that would be a fun matchup?
Yeah, you know, there's there's a few guys. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Gosh dang it. You know, guys like John Salter and stuff, you know, I just want to go out and test myself and prove myself with those guys. And you know, he's right there. He's close to the title as well, you know. So some fights like that I think would be awesome. But no, I'm trying to think the top of my head.
There's like one name that came to mind when I was just thinking of it. Maybe not a huge name, but Costello Vanstinas. He's a training partner of Gegard Mousasi, who actually lost to John Salter. Is that a name too you're kind of looking at?
Oh man, absolutely. I mean, he's right there in the title hunt too, and he's, you know, could be next up in line. So yeah, Costello, like any of those guys, man, I want to fight. I'll fight all those guys. Like I said, there's a lot of guys over in Europe, you know, Fabian Edwards that are right there. He and Costello just fought, but
that's right. Close fight too. Could have gone
Yeah,
either way.
there's a lot of really good fights and some fun fights to match. So I'm excited for everything to get completely open back up and, and be able to fight. And I'm sure Bellator is not done signing guys. And, there's going to be some more guys coming over that that are going to make for some really fun fights.
We got to talk about your wife, Paige VanZant. I think this is actually the first time we've talked since she signed with Bare Knuckle. I know you were a little bummed out. You wanted her to fight in Bellator, but it must be kind of cool for you to see her kind of be the face of the female side of Bare Knuckle fighting. I think that was sort of the intention when they signed her.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And you're right. I was a little bummed out and all that. But then I started to see the vision and, we have a great management team, first round, Malky and Abe. They really, truly have done amazing thing and with her in particular. And yeah, it was something though that she needed for her career and to really get going. And I know there's, our head coach Pahumpa here in American Top Team. He wants her to be back in MMA so bad. And, and she still is doing MMA training. It's funny. Her last fight was against Amanda Rebus, and today they're sparring together and training together and whatnot. So, she's still doing MMA things, but she's 100% focused on bare knuckle right now. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. I don't know how many of the bare knuckle fights you've watched, but it's fun. It's interesting for sure. And I'm excited for February 5th.
Yeah. So is that official? That's when she's going to make her debut, is February 5th?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
February 5th. They're still trying to lock down the opponent right away, but I
heard this Britain Hart girl is the one that's sort of been kind of, I think that's her name, the girl who's sort of called her out. Is that, I don't know if that's an opponent, but I was trying to even think, Beck Rawlings is one too. Obviously they've had a history there. I imagine it's going to be someone somewhat notable, I would think, for the first opponent.
Yeah. Of course there's that girl and there's been talks of that, but there's a couple other really big ones that I think people will be really excited about. So
there you go. Nice teaser.
Until it gets locked down, everyone will just have to wait. But it's going to be fun. The event is going to be huge. It's Super Bowl weekend. The Super Bowl is in Tampa this year. The fights are in Tampa. So it's going to be a really big deal. So we're excited.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. And any chance that, she could, with the bare knuckle contract, is she exclusive or does she have the ability to, say, take a Bellator fight if she wanted to? Do you know that?
I believe it's Combat Sports exclusive. So, she's a bare knuckle, but there's some other interesting things that, she might be able to dip her feet into and some really cool stuff. So being here in Florida is really a good place for us right now. And like I said, all the coaching staff and American Top Team aside, there's a lot of things that, she's going to be able to have her hand in and whatnot. It's going to be really good.
Who are you mainly getting to work with at American Top Team in terms of training partners? I know it's a big gym, but is there anyone in particular you work with a little bit more than others?
Yeah, my main training partner is Yaroslav Amasov. He just fought. He's the 170er for Bellator. So he and I are pretty much training every day. When he's here, he's back in Ukraine now. But man, it's kind of pick who you want and pick. I've sparred with Ponzinibbio a handful of times, and we have a lot of killers at our size right now. And it's funny to see, every month it's a kind of a different group of guys coming in and whatnot, depending on fights coming up. You get Russian guys coming in. You really see everything, like legitimately everything when you're here. So when it comes to fight time, you have an opponent that you've been training with in practice that is pretty much going to mimic everything your opponent in the fight's going to do. So, there's a lot of great guys. Johnny Eblin, some amazing talent there. And so I feel really lucky about that.
Have you got to work with Jorge Masvidal at all?
Not too much. I was getting ready for a fight and, he didn't really have one lined up. But, of course, we've been in there the same time and whatnot. And then, my hand is a little banged up right now. So, I've had to take a month or so off. So, but I would imagine once I get back in and, he and I will work together and do some stuff.
So what are you doing right now? Because you can't train, or you just, I guess, I don't know, trying to keep occupied? Do you at least go to the gym, hang out, kind of watch practice, or what sort of your day-to-day look like right now?
Yeah. I go to practice every day. I still go multiple times a day. We went this morning. I'll go again this evening, and I just trying to do the right thing with my hand and make sure I, don't slow the healing process down and whatnot. If I'm really feeling antsy, I'll just use one hand and hit the bag a little bit and do some stuff. But I gotta be careful. I'm a sweater, so I gotta be careful not to get it like too sweaty and stuff and all that. But yeah, and I'm watching fights. I watch fights every day and just trying to keep my mind sharp with fights and yeah, I just enjoy being in the gym though, seeing my teammates and my coaches and watching Paige and whatnot. So, it sucks to be hurt, but it's part of the game, and you gotta figure out ways to get better without hurting your recovery and whatnot.
You mentioned being in Alaska for the holidays, sort of Thanksgiving and all that. What's the plan for the Christmas holidays? What do you guys? I imagine just staying in Florida, kind of keeping it low key.
Yeah, we're gonna stay here in Florida. We got a couple little things planned, and we're gonna go to our coach Pahumpa's house and spend some time with him and his family. But I get surgery the 23rd, so the day before Christmas Eve. So I might be a little laid up and all that. But and that's kind of why we would typically go back to Alaska. But then also Paige's fight is right around the corner too. So we really got to buckle down and be here for that. So yeah, just be in Florida, which is going to be so weird because I've been in Alaska for 29 other Christmases. This will be the first time I've been in the sun for Christmas.
I saw you finally change your Instagram handle to just Austin Vanderford. It was Austin V170, I think, forever. And obviously you haven't fought at welterweight in a very long time. When did you make the change? Or am I totally out of the loop and this happened a while ago?
No, this was, maybe last Friday. We were sitting in Melky's office and we were just going over business stuff or whatever. And Paige just brought up like, hey, could you get Austin's Instagram changed? And he was right on it. And yeah, I've been wanting to do it for like 2 years, or well, maybe like a year and a half. But anyways, I've been wanting to do it. She's been wanting me to do it, but I didn't really know how to go about it or how to do it, or I'm not super technically savvy. So yeah, Malky snapped his fingers and it was changed in 15
That's good
minutes.
management right there. There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Last thing before we go, obviously we got Christmas coming up. What's Austin Vanderford's favorite Christmas movie?
Ooh, we just watched with my family the night before we left. We watched a Christmas story, right? The Don't Shoot Your Eye Out. Yeah, so that I would say that. I actually really enjoy watching the Christmas movies. Like when we're just hanging out and hanging out at the house. I love Elf. I love A Christmas Story. Gosh, what else?
You had me at the first movie. We were good. You could have just stopped there, but that's fine. Yeah. I like the variety. That's good, man. So
for sure. Yep.
You know what's one of mine, and we'll agree on this, I'm sure. The very first Office Christmas special that they had, the one where they were in the office and they all get loaded. That's like one of my favorite episodes ever. So good.
Love it so much. Yeah, when they do the white elephant and yeah, Michael Scott changed we could go on. That'd
be a podcast in itself. I got to get out of here because I got another interview. I know you got training to go to. Really appreciate the time, Austin. Anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, anything you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I mean, just being here, American Top Team, Dan Lambert, all the coaches here, and then our management team, first round, Malky and Abe. Really thankful for all of them. And yeah, and then the other thing, if you haven't yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel, A Kick-Ass Love Story, and you can really get like the behind the scenes of Paige and I and what it's like for a couple fighting together. And she does a really good job. I need to set my game up, but she does a great job at all the behind the scenes for the fights and all that. So you really get an in-depth look in that. So yeah, and my Instagram's Austin Vanderford now. So easy to say and check it out.